Stay to the end of the video for a special announcement. Check me out on Blue Sky and Instagram. Donate $2 to my Patreon so you can see an alternative cut of this video and also see videos upwards to a week in advance. Okay, that's it. Let's dig in.
You digging in me. You digging in a nigga.
Magnavox presents Odyssey, the electronic game of the future. Odyssey easily attaches to any brand TV, black and white or color, to create a closed-circuit electronic playground.
The Magnavox Odyssey is considered to be the very first home video game console. It was released in 1972, simple and primitive, but it paved the way for us to get DLC characters and insert new popular game trend right here to avoid this video from being dated. Us, as humans, are obsessed with the concept of the first comment, the first post, the first person to win a race, or even the idea of the first anime. Though believed to be Mighty Atom or Astro Boy, the first anime is highly contested by some anime scholars. But where can you pinpoint the first of a popular trend? For example, instead of debating what was the first anime, what was the first Isekai? Being transported into another world isn't a new concept. It's existed for as long as politicians have been trying to find new ways to fuck over poor people. So when I googled what was the first Isekai, my browser shrugged its shoulders and spat out what could possibly be the first Isekai.
I composed this music out of the love I feel for you in my heart. When the music is complete, I vow to tell you my feelings. Confess my love. I hope the music will give me the courage.
Leda, the Fantastic Adventure of Yohko was released as a direct-to-video OVA on March 1st, 1985. Released right before MegaZone 23 Part 1, it was part of the OVA boom of the 80s. Leda was so successful, in fact, that it was later re-released on December 21st, 1985 in theaters. Toho paired the film's release with Vampire Hunter D as a double feature. Imagine going to the theaters unknowingly watching what would become a piece of anime history, and then like an hour and a half later watching a man come back to life with his own sentient hand.
D, wake up! Wake up!
Directed by Kunihiko Yayuma, the man most famous for directing Pokemon, the first movie in a good chunk of the billion other Pokemon movies, and animated by Konami Productions, Leda was the brainchild of Konami Productions. Toho did all the licensing and distribution, the rest was Konami Productions. I wanted to cover Konami Productions in its own video because I find their history to be so intriguing, but to keep a long story short, Konami Productions was the animation studio behind 1984's Birth. After the failure of Birth, Konami Productions was anticipating Leda as the next big project that finally put them on the map, and thanks to Leda's success for a slither of time, Konami Productions' future was secured. One interesting point that I found in my research was the English dub was commissioned by Toho and made by a Hong Kong company named The Right Stuff International and released in 1997. And, well...
This, you wouldn't know, it's for listening to music.
Oh, can you show me how it works?
Sure. All it does is play music.
It's, fucking terrible. The character design was done by Mutsumi Inomada, and Konami's in-house mech designer Takahiro Tayamasu doing, well, the mech designs, I guess. Both things I'll talk about later in the review section. Leda has been on my radar for a second. I've bumped into this anime multiple times in my research, and when I finally watched it, I knew I had to do a review on it. It's so tied up in so many other multiple OVAs and older anime I've covered and worked on that it was nice to finally see what all that buzz was about and what all my research assignments were sort of leading up to. But with all that said, what is Leda the Fantastic Adventure of Yoko Ono even about? Yoko is just an ordinary high school girl with a crush.
Ha! Never heard that one before.
She composes an instrumental piano sonata to express her undying love for said crush and records it on her Walkman. But when it comes time for her to confess and show him the song, she freezes up in fear and suddenly and mysteriously gets transported to another world, the realm of Ashanti. It's here where she meets a talking dog, Ringham, and discovers that she's inadvertently opened a portal to another world in her panic. The other realm, Ashanti, is connected directly to our own, which is revealed as the Noah realm. Before much more exposition can be revealed, Yohko and her new talking dog friend are attacked by these evil dudes and her Walkman gets stolen away from her. Our heroes are chased into the forest and almost wiped out when an unexplained moment happens. Yohko falls into a flower, gets bikini armor, a matching sword, and takes down the bad guys chasing after her. Shortly after this magical transformation, Yohko and Ringham meet Yanni, who reveals to us that she is the last of the Shrine Maidens for a god who we never meet, Leda. The song Yohko recorded contains the series of sounds known to Ashanti as Leda's heart, which is actually transported her between the two worlds. It's later explained that Yohko would not have been able to be isekai'd if she herself hadn't been wanting to escape from her own life at that moment, but I digress. With Yohko now understanding her role as Leda's warrior, it's up to her to stop the big bad guy of the anime, Zell, a former maiden turned douchebag villain, and close the realm between the two worlds so Zell can't go and conquer her world, and hopefully after everything get back to her own world and properly confess her love. Will Yohko survive? Will Zell enter our world? And holy shit, is Leda the fantastic adventure of Yam Yam responsible for why I got reincarnated as an IRS worker?
Odyssey, a new dimension for your television.
We don't have enough time to say goodbye.
Well, maybe we'll meet again someday.
And maybe I will fall in love like Yohko.
When I finished watching Leda, I found myself liking it. I could see why it was a hit upon its initial release, but just because I liked it doesn't mean it's good. And yikes, when I'm talking about my actual feelings on Leda, all I have to say is this anime is really good. Both on an entertainment level and on a technical level, the first thing I need to comment on is how awesome it looks. From the detailed backgrounds to the character design and even its movement, this anime looks great and has aged with grace. The standout moment for me is the scene where Zell and Yohko have their second encounter and he hypnotizes her.
その肉体は私と変わらぬ生身のもの。愛し合うことだってできるはずだよ。愛し合うことだし。
Wow, my head's spinning!
The attention to detail is so mind-bending and the loop is so hypnotic. As I mentioned before, the character design is great. There's this real sense of whimsy in the designs, and I applaud Inomata for finding this balance between cute, mysterious, and idiosyncratic with these characters. I also find the mech designs to be so intriguing. Toyamasu did the mech designs for Birth, and one consistent thing linking Birth and Leda are their respective fantastical looking mechs. Toyamasu's standout mech in Leda is Yanni's mech, unconventional in composition, looking one part medieval, one part logical, and two parts peculiar. It's an interesting looking mech with its skinny little limbs and its big body and house-like head. It looks nice and so interesting. Another thing I will say is, in comparison to Birth, Leda looks far cleaner, and it stays consistent with its character design, size, and scope from beginning to end. end. And dude, the voice acting is spot on, like for every character. The most notable of which is the voice actress Hiromi Tetsuru as Yohko.
なんかバカみたいだったわ。一人でいい気になってて、それが嫌で思い切って告白しちゃえって思ったの。
And if that name rings a bell, that's because she's the voice actress for Bulma from Dragon Ball. Then there's Kei Tomiyama as Ringham. His career spans from Astro Boy, Space Battleship Yamato, and UFO Grandizer. Tomiyama perfectly balances wise old dog and silly companion really well.
なんじゃと？何日か前からじゃ。あの蜃気楼が現れたのは。どうかな？あの景色に見覚えはないかな？
Chika Sakamoto does a perfect job at being the cutesy Yoni.
今のところは大丈夫。かなりのところまで行ってるみたいだけど、レダのハートがない限り次元を超えることはできないわ。レダの翼羽ばたくとき、レダの鎧、力の門をくぐり、戦士を守るべし。
And Shuichi Ikeda, who did the voice of Rod Balboa in does an excellent job at sounding like a pompous, threatening jerk as the evil Zell.
そう、我々はあなたがこちらに来るのを助けただけ。あなたがアシャンティに来たのはあなたがそれを望んだからなのだ。戦士はレダそのものではない。その肉体は私と変わらぬ生身のもの。
Also, the soundtrack for this anime is really good. If you're not going to watch the anime, at least listen to its soundtrack. Since music is a big part of the plot of this anime, it's clear the creators wanted this anime to sound like heaven, and it does to me. I also think that the world of Ashanti is beautiful and so interesting, filled with wonder and awe. This world really feels like one that a god left behind, but not in a way that feels post-apocalyptic or that there's no soul left in it. Plus, the lore is interesting too. How did Zell come to power? What was the flower that gave Yoko's powers? Why can this dog talk? Where are the other shrine maidens? How did these locations look before Zell took over? These were questions I asked myself throughout the OVA and never got answers, which leads me to my biggest problem with this OVA. A lot of things go unexplained. I'm usually willing to overlook this kind of stuff, but a lot of the anime hinges on the mystery and lore of Ashanti. I understand in a fantasy setting not everything needs to be explained, and hell, if you're a good enough writer, illustrator, or creative, a lot of the setups don't need to be explained outright, but rather communicated via environmental details and setting alone. Leda leaves so much out that it leaves me to guessing its meaning or what lack thereof. So many of these questions just aren't explained, making what could have been a great anime just good at most. This anime laid out the groundwork for other future isekai to build off of and improve on, so the next part that I'm about to say might be a bit divisive, but if you look at this anime at a modern anime lens, it's a bit of a relic. With the context that this anime laid the foundation for future tropes, I can see why it was popular when it came out, but living in a world where this concept has now been beaten to death, Leda comes off more as an interesting historical piece than anything else. A relic from a long gone era of anime that I respect and value, but would I say I'm impressed by it all that much? Honestly, not really. On a story level, not a technical level. I still really think this anime looks good and far better than a lot of anime today. I feel mixed on the character of Yohko herself for a lot of the same reasons. She's the hero who's almost great at anything. She exists for male otaku to ogle at and female otaku to look up to. A bit of wish fulfillment, if you will. But I do like her as a character in aspects that she doesn't waste our time by being a completely reluctant hero. Though she comes off a bit one-dimensional, she's fun, upbeat, and a good enough protagonist to follow. And in the modern day isekai realm, that's really asking a lot, to be honest, especially she's a female main character too. Oddly, she's both ahead of her time while also definitely firmly being part of her time. Despite the success of Leda, Konami Productions would soon go under after the failure of their next anime when Daria didn't really hit audiences as much as they hoped. This really sucks because we were supposed to get a Leda sequel. Toho commissioned this sequel due to the first film's success, but since Konami Productions, which was the brain of Leda, was basically dead by 1988 before production started, Toho shrugged their shoulders and moved on. There's little to no information about this planned sequel, and it was never formally cancelled. But seeing that it's been about 40 years, come on, wake up, smell the syrup, this shit is not coming out. As for Leda's status for being the very first isekai, no, it's not. For a number of reasons, both contradictory and overwhelming, it's the first isekai to get all the tropes down and get the shape for many animes to follow through after it. It's like when people say Astro Boy was the first anime, Japanese animation existed far before Astro Boy, but Astro Boy is the show that got it all down, all the tropes, all the features that we see in anime today. The big eyes, the spiky silhouette, defining hair, the lip flaps that never match the voice actors. If you're interested in anime history and want to watch some old anime to see where these tropes came from, watch Leda. If you're not into isekai, then you'd definitely not be impressed by Leda. With a mix of pretty visuals, fun characters, and a fun soundtrack, Leda the Fantastic Adventure of Yohko is a good anime at that. At the time, it was a fresh and relatively new concept. Despite it not holding up in certain ways, I found myself enjoying it. I don't think it's perfect by any means, but I find this anime to be historically relevant anyway. I'm so happy I watched Leda Fantastic. I'm so tired of saying that whole title. I'm so happy I watched Leda. Have you watched Leda? What do you think of it? I'm always reading the comments, so please comment on what you liked or even didn't like about Leda. Or have you even watched Leda or anything? Just tell me. I'm always reading comments. I guess it's time for me to boot up Crunchyroll and watch I Got Reincarnated as a Broke Unemployed PNG YouTuber. Hi, thank you for staying till the end of the video. So since it's the start of a new year, I really wanted to dabble into new things. Instead of just talking about retro anime, I wanted to also dabble into something else that I like, and I really like tokusatsu. So I wanted to look at a couple of tokusatsu films and just some stuff that's also different from stuff that you'd normally expect. So with that being said, I want to clarify that I'm still going to be reviewing retro anime. That's never going to change on this channel. So if you end up seeing different kinds of videos, just understand I'm still here. I know change is scary, but I'm still in my roots. I just need to stretch my legs a little bit so you can be able to, get some different kind of content, see what else I like. And, watching 40-year-old Japanese cartoons is a lot of fun, but it feels like my brain has had enough, especially over the past 2 years. So please like and subscribe, and I shall see you next time, and I'm so excited for us to get into.
Yo, I deal with this. I've been looking high, I've been looking low for the guiding, jiving thing to show. And now this punk's become a